Oh no, as soon as I put this in, I know exactly what's going to happen. I can't believe this is the first episode where I'm going to have to unsubscribe from one of my friends. Hello everyone, welcome back to How to Train Your Gavin. Today's video is going to be episode 6 of my I Have to Like My Friends' Favourite Books or I Unsubscribe from Their Channel series. This is going to be kind of like a late Halloween special because I've decided to make this episode based around either horror or thriller books. I had every intention of posting this in October, but some plans escape us. Essentially, I pick 4 of my booktuber friends. I either ask them directly or I comb through their recommendation videos looking for a specific book to read where I have to like it or I unsubscribe from their channel. I've been going for books that sound appealing to me, so pretty much every single person I've featured so far has been in the safe zone, but if a book falls underneath a 6 out of 10 rating, then I'm sad to say the friendship is over. This is what the current leaderboard looks like. Liv's Library has been reigning supreme since episode 4, so I'm hoping to find a new favourite book to dethrone Liv. Will that happen in this episode? Will one of my friends in this episode get unsubscribed from? Gonna have to wait to find out. So my friends that are featured in this episode are Codie from the channel Codie's Book Corner, Katie from the channel Katie Colson, Ellias from the channel Ellias, and Beth from the channel Beth Bartholomew. All my friends are linked down in the description box if you want to check them out and show your support. First up, Codie was so gracious to send me a list of her favourite thriller and horror books from previous years. And on that list I have already read a few of them, but the one that stood out to me was her #1 pick on that list, which was Haunted by Palahniuk? Palahniuk. For Katie, I decided to pick A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. I've owned this book for, I think, just over a year whenever I got this edition of it. I believe this was in the Fairy Loot Adult book box, and I've been dying to read it ever since. Look at the stenciled edges. For Elias, I decided to pick Black Iris by Elliot Wake. I decided to cover the author's dead name with some washi tape, and I think it looks pretty good like this. Yeah, I just combed Elias's videos and found this in one of them, and it immediately jumped out to me. And finally, Beth, she actually gave me a direct recommendation, and that was The Last House on Eagle Street by Catriona. I have been meaning to read this ever since getting it, like, what, 2 years ago when I got this edition of it, and I've seen some of my friends really enjoy and love this book too. So these are the 4 books that I will be reading in the hopes that no friendships were ruined in the making of this video. If you do end up enjoying, don't forget to leave this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, I believe YouTube has added a new feature where the subscribe button and the like button both highlight whenever I say like and subscribe for the first time in a video, so did you catch it? But more importantly, did you click it? And I'm just excited to get started, so let's do it. Okay, I actually don't know what to read first. I want to pick an audiobook because I am in dire need of cleaning this house. And also, it's now November, so I need to take down Halloween decorations and give this house a proper winter clean. So I want to say if there's an audiobook. Everend? Has Scribd changed to Everend? I didn't download Everend. What? I think Scribd has literally just changed. I just updated it, and now it's called Everend. What? I don't care as long as you have the audiobooks I want, so let's have a look. Maybe A Dowry of Blood? Nope. See, I want to read The Last House on Eagle Street physically because I've heard it is a little bit of a mindfuck. Haunted isn't even on here either. Is Black Iris? Yay, Black Iris is on, so I am going to listen to that first. Ellias, you're up first.
Diving deep into the waves, babe. I know that you wanted to. It's a risk worth taking, even if it's over soon. Want you skin tight, close like denim. Come on, love me right. When it's ending, I'll be fine. I got your body close to mine. Call me if it's only for tonight. Your hands on my body, 'cause my body's what you like. I'm down if you're down to get it now. Call me, baby, if it's only for tonight. Call me if it's only for tonight. Your hands on my body, 'cause my body's what you like. I'm down if you're down to get it now. Call me, baby, if it's only for tonight.
I have 2 live shows tonight. The first one is in 20 minutes, which I need to get ready for. And the one after that is for my channel members. The one in 20 minutes is my usual Thursday night Charmed Witch along with my patrons. Very excited. But firstly, I have been listening to Black Iris today and I am on page 117. I haven't had a chance to really listen to an audiobook and go through the house tidying. I managed to wash all my dishes, tidy the living room, tidy the kitchen, tidy my bedroom, and it was so needed. My dishes were terrible. I haven't done them in like 2 weeks, and I used my last plate this morning. So it was very much needed to get all of the housework done, and listening to this audiobook so far has just been incredible to do. And I have the time to do everything else too. Took down the Halloween decorations, as you will have seen. Ready to start fresh. But Black Iris, yes, I haven't told you what any of these books are about. I'm going to tell you when I get to the section of my friends. But essentially we follow Lainey, and this book is so dark from the very beginning. Oh my gosh. Lainey has such a dark kind of sense of humor, but also a dark outlook on life. And it isn't until Lainey goes to college and meets Armin and Blythe. Armin and Blythe are like 2 besties, that Lainey starts to see a world opening up before her. And I will say that this is queer, but I don't really think there's a whole lot of plot happening right now. There was something that was mentioned at the end of the previous chapter where Lainey sees someone and she says, that is the boy who ruined my life. That is the boy I'm going to kill. And I think finally now we're going to get into the thriller aspect of this book, because so far there hasn't really been anything to indicate a thriller book. It's mainly been a very human, character-driven story, which doesn't really have much of a story. It was mainly development that we've been getting so far, and I really do find a lot to relate to with Lainey. I also don't know if Lainey is a reliable narrator yet, so I'm very excited to find out all of the dark secrets that Lainey might be hiding from even us, the reader. But honestly, when I say this book started off so dark, it started off the darkest you could imagine. And even though not a whole lot has happened in terms of plot, it still kept me reading, or listening, I should say. Or at least it kept my attention, because I really do find the characters so intriguing. Armin, Blythe, the relationship and dynamic between the 3 of them is just so interesting. And I think I have Britney Spears on the brain, because there was a moment in this where the narrator said there's only 2 types of people in the world, and my brain automatically went, the ones who entertain and the ones who observe. I need to stop listening to Britney Spears. If I wasn't listening to an audiobook today, it would have been Britney Spears instead. So I won't have a chance to read any more tonight, I don't think. The Charmed Witch alongs usually last around about 3 hours. The One Piece live shows last usually around about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I'm hoping to get back to this book tomorrow and hopefully finish it.
And I'd give up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now. And all I could taste is this moment, and all I can breathe is your life. And sooner or later it's over. I just don't wanna miss you tonight. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. And you can't fight the tears that ain't coming, all the moment of truth in your lies. When everything feels like the movies, yeah, you bleed just to know you're alive.
Season 7 of Selling Sunset is now on Netflix. I ordered myself a coaster. I'm ready to get back into the Selling Sunset world. Let's go!
Everything's made to be broken. I just want you to know who I am.
I have had to force myself to stop watching Selling Sunset. I was only going to watch one episode. I've watched two. And actually, I'm really proud of myself for even stopping after the second episode. I really seriously could have continued on. But it is now currently 2:30 p.m. and I have a live show at 6 p.m. and I really want to get this finished before that live show. I'm currently on page 273 and I believe there's only about 100 pages left, so I think it's definitely doable. I read a lot more of this during my sprints last night with Steph and Becca. I'm listening to the audiobook at 1.8 times speed because I do need to slow it down a little bit because the timeline of this is jumping around just a little bit and it's very easy to kind of lose track of what's going on. But I'm still absolutely, well, one, loving the writing style. I think it's phenomenally done. It is so raw. You know, it kind of reminds me of, you know, like a really gritty British film about life, or at least like relationships between people. And honestly, the exploration of relationships in this book is just next to none, you know what I mean? There is just so much exploration of sexuality, and not even just in a romantic sense, but there's a lot of relationship building around that. Honestly, like a lot of bad language. There's like a lot of offensive words being thrown around in this. Specifically, like the F word, I think, is the one that's like most used. So I would just know that going into it, just be wary of that. I personally don't mind, especially when it's done in a way that just highlights the society that we are being shown and the dynamics between people that are part of the story. So it's all fine and well, honestly, and I am still really enjoying this. The story has really been picking up. I've been learning so much more about Lainey, about the relationship with like her family, for instance, and getting such a huge insight into why she is the way she is now. But it's still very heavy and raw and emotional, and yeah, I just haven't read a book like this in such a long time, especially with like human nature, mental health and stuff like that. So genuinely just eye-opening, great so far. Very excited to get this done today, and very excited about the upcoming live show that I'm doing with Amber and Murphy. I should also start getting prepared for that. So what I might do is finish the audiobook of Black Iris, get prepared for that live show, maybe do some more planning. Maybe I will reward myself tonight after the live show, once I've got the first book down for this vlog, to watch more Selling Sunset. I think it's like 12 episodes this season. Usually it's around about like 8 or 10, but it's 12 and I'm not complaining. That's like amazing. I just don't really like have the time to just really sit and binge, at least not without feeling guilty for doing so and like pushing things back, which I don't really want to do, especially since I have like 3 different visits this month from like friends. So it's like the most visits I've ever had, like ever since like moving in, and all of a sudden this month I've got like 3 sets of friends coming. So I'm really excited for that. I really am, because I really want to be more social, and you know, especially after doing my October vlog, where I vlogged every day in October, I realized just how much I'm lacking in human interaction sometimes, and it's making me feel like I'm not dedicating enough time to being social and my friends and things like that. So it's definitely something I'm going to turn around by the end of 2023. So I'm really excited. I'm happy to have so many people staying this month, even though I do have 4 leaks in the house. It's like not a nice house to be in right now, but I mean, if they're willing to overlook that, more power to them.
Welcome to the One Piece Draft. We're building our pirate crew today, and I am really excited. Obviously, we have the queen of BookTube, Miss Murphy Napier, joining us, and the king of BookTube, Gavin, aka How to Train Your Gavin.
This was super dark, and I really appreciated how dark it could get, like so unashamedly. So I finished the last 100 pages of this yesterday. I also finished season 7 of Selling Sunset. I watched all 11 episodes back to back. There is a 12th episode coming, a reunion, I think next week or the week after. Really excited for that. I couldn't control myself yesterday, and my excuse was that there were so many fireworks going off that were quite loud. So I just kept the episodes with the volume quite high so that myself and my cats couldn't hear all of the annoying fireworks. I don't think my cats are scared of them, to be honest. I don't think they understand anything with what's going on. It's just like a little noise outside and they just seem to ignore it. But I also don't want that to develop into anything in the future. So if I nip it in the bud now, then hopefully we can avoid any bonfire night scares. It is actually bonfire night today, but obviously people set fireworks off weeks and weeks in advance. But yeah, it is Sunday, it's 2 p.m. I have a Patreon True Crime and Wine night tonight at 7. Very excited. I'm going to do this update and then I do have another video that I want to film today, so I don't think I'll be able to read anything else today, but I am just so glad that I finished this yesterday, and watching episodes 3 through 11 after finishing this was like my treat, my reward for getting this done. This is so heavy. It's absolutely so heavy. It's so dark. And we do start getting into that revenge storyline, which was something that I was sold on for this book. And for the longest time, I was like, when are we going to get there? And it did take a while, but it's so rewarding when it finally does, like, kind of pay off, that it just makes up for the lack of, I guess, plot for a lot of this book, because most of it is just character driven, exploring characters, character relationships, the fluidity of like queerness, and all of the incredible stuff that you could explore in a book like this. I don't know if this is new adult or adult, because I don't think I've read much new adult, and this is so out of my comfort zone that it's hard to kind of talk about and give you a full formed opinion on. Going into the ratings, characters, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Genuinely think that the exploration of these characters was some of the best that I've seen in a book. The flying around of the narrative did kind of hinder some of that for me personally, which is why I'm giving it a 9 instead of a 10, just because it was kind of hard to really follow along with the character sometimes, like, even though yes, it's like postmarked at the start of a chapter what time this is taking place in, but sometimes it was a little bit hard to follow in that sense, especially when it comes to characters. Atmosphere, I'm going to give an 8. It was very dark and there were some beautifully written moments that were just so intense, and it really does help with conveying the dark messages of this book and the exploration of like the darker side of human nature. I'm gonna give writing a 10. I think only a strong writer could write a story like this, and Elliot Wake was definitely strong enough to write it. Plot, I'm gonna give a 7, just because it did take a long time to get there. Not that I was ever bored, but I was wondering sometimes, okay, what is it that I'm reading right now? You know what I mean? Intrigue, I gave an 8. Lots of intriguing moments, and especially the way that Elliot Wake would have some foreshadowing in going back in time to explore the relationship between Lainey and her mum. The way that's structured, it kept leaving me wanting more. I'm like, okay, but what happened after that moment? What happened after that interaction between Lainey and her mum? You know, stuff like that. Logic, 8. Not many complaints about that. And enjoyment, I gave a 9, which gives Black Iris a rating of 8.43, and it also puts Ellias 8th on the leaderboard, which is a fantastic start for episode 6. We're starting so strong with Black Iris, but yeah, there is still, of course, like room for improvement. So Beth, Codie, and Codie have their work cut out for them.
Reality. I may be weak in this world, and my enemy may be powerful, but in the next world, I will be in heaven, and my enemy will be burning for all eternity. This is the resentment at the heart of slave morality.
It hit home, oftentimes because I feel like the genuine emotions and themes about life are often submerged and end up taking a second place to other aspects of the story like entertainment or romance.
Firstly, can we just appreciate the fact that this book looks absolutely stunning? Dowry of Blood, Gibson. I think this was my second Fairy Blue adult book, and I have been dying to read this since I got it. It's always looked so good. So many people I watch really love it. Essentially, it follows Constanta, and she is giving us this account of what happened to her husband, who turns out to be, well, Dracula, but it doesn't say he is Dracula. It does in the summary, but not in the actual book. But yeah, I'm assuming that she is like the first bride of Dracula. And she starts off this story saying, I'm sorry I killed you, kind of thing. Like, she's writing in a journal. She's given us this story through an account, and she apologizes to him for killing him at the very start. And I was like, oh, this is a great start. However, the journaling does not stop. That is the entire book so far. I am currently on page 109, so I made very good progress with this. This is actually like so quick to read, because there are like so many pages, like say where chapters happen, where there is a blank spot there, and there are some parts of it that are just literally a page. So it's so quick to read, but I'm really not liking it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. When I set off to do this series of I have to like my friends' favorite books, I unsubscribe from their channel, I never actually thought it would get serious. I never thought it would happen. I still have just under 200 pages to go, so things might change. But the only thing I'm really worried about is that I hate second person narratives. And this story is second person epistolary. And if I'd known that going into it, I would have just read this on my own at some other time. I would not have picked this for Codie. I would not have read this for Codie. Codie, I feel like I've done you wrong. I feel like I've screwed you over because I can't stand second person. Even though the narrator is not saying that me, the reader, is the person who did these things when she says, you did this and you did that. She is talking directly to her vampiric husband. So that's not me, but I can't detach myself from that. There was a story in the Out There Screaming book that was second person. It was the only story in that collection that was second person, and I didn't like that either. I just can't look past it. You can't tell me what I've done when I didn't do it. You smile a wicked grin. No, I fucking didn't. The author's note has a lot of triggers in it, and one of them is gaslighting, but I didn't realise that she was gaslighting fucking me. You were on him before he had time to scream and snarl a handful of his hair and wrench in his head. That's fucking defamation. There was a part that did say you looked handsome, and fair enough, you got me there. But I just can't get past the narrative style. I'm sorry. Like, the way she tells the story as well is she's recounting everything, she's summarising everything. It's not like we're actually seeing what's happened. We're actually just getting told what's happened. And don't get me wrong, like, some parts of it is very nicely written and it does have such gorgeous atmosphere, which is one of the reasons why I think maybe Codie still might be safe when I do the co-pilot rating, because some of the ratings might be high and it might bring the average up, such as atmosphere. I do think it's doing that very well. But writing, characters, I'm just not really feeling anything for. I feel so detached from them because I just cannot stand the writing style. I can't stand second person. I'm sorry. Codie, if I'd known. If I should have been paying more attention. This is definitely my fault. This is my fault. I'm hoping for a much better second part of this because I am in part 2 now. I don't know how many parts there are, but I'm in part 2. I don't think the narrative's changing because I thought, oh, maybe part 1 is just told in this way. But no, it's continued in a part 2 and I'm fucking worried. Codie, don't hate me. I'm currently on some Patreon reading sprints with Jade, and I plan on finishing this during these sprints, but I also have some other things I need to do. I have a Cold Betrover trip to talk about a potential trip, and then I also have a channel members live show tonight. So it's a very busy day today, but I have every faith that I will finish this, or at least get close enough to the end that I can finish it with my coffee in the morning or something like that. But I am literally praying for a miracle right now. I have a book haul video I need to film after this update. Let's just get this update out of the way. I feel like you guys already know how I feel about A Dowry of Blood. I don't think it improved, honestly. There is such a repetitive nature with the plot, if you can say it has a plot. One thing I will say that I did really enjoy, because I do want to try and be positive as well, is that I do like the allegory of like fighting back against somebody who is manipulative and controlling, and considering they are vampires as well, like it's kind of a clever way of doing that. So to say Constanta and even the other people that he has like sired is very good. But maybe that's like the only thing that I kind of liked from this. It does lead to a rather emotional climax, and seeing the strength bubble up within Constanta, especially when you consider how long she's been with him and the things that she's done with him. It's very touching. So yeah, I like that. I don't even really want to talk about it, to be honest. I just want to get straight into what I'm rating it. So let's get go pile up. Oh. So it does have to get a 6 or above average in order to keep Codie in my subscription feed. God, Codie, I love you so much. I hate that I'm doing this to you. Characters. I feel like I would probably give characters a 6. I liked Constanta enough that I felt some pride with her towards the end. And Alexi seemed quite hot, not gonna lie. It wasn't written the way it was written. I think I would have loved them even more. Atmosphere, you know what? Atmosphere is pretty good. So I'd give it a 7 for atmosphere. So you know what? It's not looking too bad right now. It's not looking too bad. Writing, I mean, the writing wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad. It genuinely wasn't bad. I genuinely believe if I liked second person narratives, then I would have ate this up, but I just don't. So that's more on me than the actual book. But if I'm rating it based on my heart, Writing for me would probably be a 4. It's like, it's not bad. It's not bad writing. I just don't like it. Plot, 3. I'm not gonna lie, the plot was really repetitive. It was Dracula guy and Constanta. They have a life together, they start to get bored. They say someone else, they have a life together, they get bored. They say someone else, they have a life together, they get bored. You know what I mean? It's like, I got bored. I just don't think it has that much of a plot. Intrigue? I wasn't intrigued at all, I'm afraid. I honestly would have DNF'd if I wasn't reading this for this video. It was probably a 2. Logic? I mean, I always struggle with this rating. Nothing really took me out of the story in terms of the world logic, really. Not that I can think of anyway. So I guess a 7 for logic, because it wasn't bad in that regard. Oh, enjoyment. Oh no, as soon as I put this in, I know exactly what's going to happen. I can't believe this is the first episode where I'm going to have to unsubscribe from one of my friends. This is awful. This is awful. This is the final episode. I'm cancelling the series. Enjoyment, 2. Oh my god. Oh. I can't. I just really didn't like it. I'm gutted. I'm so gutted. I know so many people do like it. It does put Codie at the very bottom of the leaderboard, I'm afraid. I need to do some kind of redemption. And now I have to unsubscribe. No. I feel like I fucked Codie over by picking this. Again, I had no idea it was second person. Okay. We can do this. Okay. Oh no. I don't want to do it. No. Oh no. Can I just do like no notifications? Like, it's kind of not exactly unsubscribing, but it just means that I won't get any notifications at all. So it's almost like I don't subscribe. Can I do that instead? Codie, I'm so sorry. This is the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. Oh no. Oh no! Oh, okay, there's another button to click, god damn it. Oh god. Oh, I need to do this redemption arc, like, stat. Oh, guys, please, can you just let me off this one time? I can't look. I literally cannot look. No! Torbjörn doesn't even care. Like, he's literally just like lying on that chair and he doesn't give a shit that I'm crying my eyes out here. Nothing. Oh, I got a text message. Hey, what's up? Hello. It's Katie Colson here. Welcome back to my fucking bad side. Gavin. Let me tell you something, okay? You want to unsubscribe from me? Gavin, you do know that you've got more grey hair than you do prospects, right? And I will not stand for how much of a bitch you are, Gavin. You can't spell biggest snake on BookTube without Gavin, am I right? Gavin reads it all, more like Gavin sleeps with all. 'Cause you're a slut. If only that self-worth was as strong as the smell between your legs. Unsubscribe from me? Katie fucking Colson? What? Listen. Everyone's gonna know the truth. Okay? Everyone's gonna know it. You, nasty. This series, shit. Your channel, garbage. Hotel, Trafog. You better watch your back, Mr. Hetherington. I'll get you, my pretty. I'll get you. Okay, so what do I do now? I'm sure if Katie picked an actual book for me personally, then I think this would have gone a whole lot better. But please don't look at me. Where's the official rule book? I mean, there's nothing in the rules that doesn't say that I can't resubscribe straight away. Okay, before I start talking, I actually want to show you my shirt, which I bought months ago for the Halloween period, and it only just came, like, yesterday. But it's this. It is the Scooby Gang unmasking Shaggy as Ghostface, because Shaggy, Matthew Lillard, plays him in the Scooby-Doo movie, and I mean, I don't want to give spoilers for the very first Scream, but, you know, it has been out for a while. And I'm glad it isn't one of those really cheap, awful knockoff ones, because I did get this from an Instagram ad. In the past few that I've gotten have been god-awful. So I was a little bit concerned, but fortunately, it feels and looks good. And I'm just gonna have to save it for next Halloween. I don't have any reading updates just yet because I haven't started The Last House on Needless Street. I'm going to the cinema later with a couple of my friends who are going to be staying the night here as well. They're going to see the new Marvel film, but I've really lost all interest in anything Marvel, so I don't really want to sit in a cinema for 2.5 hours. So I'm gonna meet them for coffee, gonna have some food there maybe, and I'll take this along and I'll stay and read while they go and see a film. If that's not typical How to Train Your Gavin, I don't know what is. Actually, you know how, like, in pretty much every I Have to Like My Friends' Favorite Books videos, a big life event kind of happens. In episode 1, I confronted an online bully who hadn't been leaving me alone for so long, and they haven't bothered me since, yay. In episode 2, I got Ashlyn Tobu, and it was my 30th birthday. In episode 3, my best friend of 20 years became my housemate. In episode 4, I kicked my housemate out. Not as dramatic as it sounds. In fact, the friend who used to live here is the person I'm going to the cinema/Costa with. So that was episode 4. Episode 5, I got this sofa, and it's changed my life. Now episode 6, I've decided to change my channel name. I have. I've changed it. I wasn't loving the name How to Train Your Gavin for a while now. It made sense at the time when I made it. It was January 2020. I remember I made it pre-pandemic, and that was when I was peak middle grade. So I had to play on the How to Train Your Dragon kind of name. And that was like my pun, that was my thing. But over the years, it just hasn't fit, and it just sounds dodgy now. It sounds dodgy. What is a Gavin? And why are you wanting to train him? You know what I mean? Like, How to Train Your Gavin? Who looks that up? Who looks that up? So it does sound like a bit of a dodgy tutorial channel. It sounds a little bit like a BDSM channel. You know, you just don't know what you're going to get with the How to Train Your Gavin. So I thought I would change it to Gavin Reads It All. I do have an illustrator who I'm working with for my, like, manga and One Piece videos, but I asked them to do a channel banner kind of thing, so I should be getting that soon. So I'm really excited to see how that looks. I will put it up on the screen somewhere because I should have it by the time I edit this video. I've been working with this illustrator for a couple of weeks now, actually, and I absolutely love what they've been doing with my manga and One Piece thumbnails, because I do want to still do everything on my channel. I want to cover everything. As my new channel name, Gavin Reads It All, explains, I read it all. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. Because, you know, like, it does hurt me in the algorithm and stuff. I kind of want my manga videos to appeal to a broader audience, you know, because a lot of my booktube audience don't click on them. So that means YouTube recommends them less. So hopefully if somebody sees it in their recommendations, they will click on it more if they are into manga or anime or whatever. So hopefully that, like, balances it out a little bit. It might be broken logic, but we may as well try it. Also, as well, again, like, this has nothing to do with this video, these books, But, you know, I kind of use these episodes as like life updates as well. I'm going to be launching my next trip with Drawing Trip in 3 days. So it's currently Saturday and it will launch on Tuesday. My patrons and the people on my Egypt waitlist have early access to the early bird link. And I have 8 early bird spots and 7 of them have gone already. So I only have 1 early bird spot left now, which is awesome and amazing. I'm so happy. But yeah, I'm going to China in April 2025. I cannot wait. If it hasn't sold out by the time that I upload this video, I will have a link to it in the description box if you want to check it out. It is so phenomenal. Love the itinerary. We're going to the Forbidden City, the Great Wall of China, and it's so cheap as well. I wanted to be as cheap as possible before the whole Christmas period because I know how hard it is to afford things at the minute, but I've made it as cheap as possible. It's my cheapest trip yet, and yet we are doing something extraordinary still. So I'm really excited for China. I can't wait. That's about it. I've got 13 spots left on that trip. It launches in 3 days and I'm ready. I'm ready to get out of this country again. I'm freezing. I'm so cold. I've got myself my blanket. I want to just sit and have a coffee, maybe watch some YouTube before I have to leave for Costa and see my friends. I'll give this a start.
What's the angle? I'm not playing that game. It's the same business with a different name. Who's the target? Sorry, I'm not in the market. If I quit buying, you can't sell me anything.
It's only 2:30 p.m. and it's already getting so dark. I mean, it's obviously light when I get towards the window, but yeah, I've had to put the lights on and all of that. So my friends have gone. They stayed the night. I slept in the living room with my cats, which was always lovely. I always love doing that. But I remember actually yesterday when I was doing my update, I didn't explain too well about why I changed my channel name to Gavin Reads It All. I don't know if you remember, but when I was in the Haunted Village at the very start of October, well, I filmed it at the end of September, but I made a Clarissa Explains It All joke, which I'm very proud of in that video. And honestly, I've been thinking about it ever since because I was at a time when I wanted to name everything. I wanted to name the series of videos that I do on my channel where I go ghost hunting. And I was like, what can I call it? What can I call it? So I was also thinking about my channel name because again, I haven't really been the biggest fan of it for a while. But yeah, I did a Clarissa Explains It All joke. And yeah, I just kind of thought, Gavin explains it, Gavin reads it all, Gavin reads it all. So I was kind of thinking about that for a little while. And then I just took the plunge the other night, just like, if I'm not going to change it now, I'm never going to change it. So just do it. And that's what I did. I was going to wait until the illustrator got me the illustration back for the header and stuff. But I just decided to just go straight ahead and do it. I still haven't got it back just yet. But to be fair, they do a lot of work. So I honestly never mind when they have to take a little bit longer to do it. Do you want an actual reading update? Do you want me to actually like vlog a book? So I started The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward while I was in Costa. I only read about 1 chapter because it was just so distracting, like around. There was like quite loud music and it was a little bit hard to concentrate. So it took me longer to read 1 chapter than usual, but I still read it. And oh my God, it's so weird so far. It's so confusing. And I believe this is like a dual narrative too. Like each chapter is different. And yep, I've got my Christmas pajamas on. It's time for Christmas. Christmas is the time to say I love you. The first chapter was about Ted, and I honestly didn't know what age he was to begin with because he acts in a way that I wasn't even sure if he was an adult or a child. And then he talks about having a child himself. And I just, like, there's so many confusing things. I don't know how much to explain just yet. But it's so strange. The dialogue as well. There's a neighbor who is introduced in the first chapter. And there's just, like, such strange dialogue. And, like, this is, like, really weird, isn't it? I'm confused about his daughter as well. And this is one that I'm going to have to, like, sit down and, like, read properly. I was going to maybe try and audiobook it as well so that I can try and clean the house. Because, oh my God, my friends have left it in a state. Have you seen the dishes? All of these bloody dishes. And who has to clean all of that up? Me. So I was gonna like audiobook and clean and do all of that, but I need to concentrate on this book, I think. Are we getting a POV from the cat?
Collective pressure. It's about time for another lecture. You do it too. If you knew what's good for you. Future minded. It's not much for peace of mind, my friend. If I quit fighting, tell me what would happen then. No thanks, I'll pass. I don't want any of that.
I'm about to make myself a mint hot chocolate, which I think will be so nice and cozy to have tonight because I'm doing a Patreon movie night tonight. It's going to be the first festive movie night that we do this year. And I'm so excited. We're going to be watching Christmas on Mistletoe Farm on Netflix. And I've never seen that before. I'd never even heard of it until I researched it to see what we could watch tonight. And that one looks pretty good. And Lexi and her patrons are going to be joining as well tonight. So that's really exciting. And that's good because me and Lexi are cooking something up for the future. So I can, pick her brain about some things about that too. It's in about 25 minutes, but I do want to get started on making that hot chocolate. It does take a little while. But I thought I would give you a little update on The Last House on Needless Street. I'm about 87 pages in and I'm so confused. I don't know what's going on. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't even really know what the general plot is supposed to be. Like, we've got, different characters here. We also got introduced to Dee, and Dee's sister goes missing, and it kind of messes up her family. But then Ted is still talking about his daughter, and then we're still getting the POV from the cat. I don't know what's going on. But I'm still liking it though. I kind of like sitting here confused, just trying my absolute damnedest to follow the story. Like, what is the story? No wonder the summary in this is so vague. I just don't get it so far. But I'm only a tiny little ways in. I was hoping to get way more done than that today. But I think after the movie night tonight, I will most likely dive back into reading, stick some ASMR train ride video or something on the TV, and settle in with my boys and just make the most of these really quiet moments. And I'm gonna say as well, since changing my channel name to Gavin Reads It All, I'm also trying to get that mindset where I don't have to force myself to rush things, because I'm late on so many things. I'm late on this vlog. This vlog should have been done by now. I should have been starting my Wizard of Oz vlog by now, but I know I set myself impossible deadlines, and that needs to stop. That needs to stop. So in my Gavin Reads It All era, I'm gonna still try and stick to deadlines, but not be so hard on myself when I don't meet them, And also give myself reasonable deadlines. So I've pushed this vlog back a couple of days, and you know what? That's fine. That's fine. Even if I don't get through all of the Wizard of Oz books I want to this month, that's fine too. I need to start telling myself that is fine. And I already feel so much better about it. So this is Gavin Reads It All. R.I.P. How to Train Your Gavin. You were an absolute bitch and an absolute nightmare to work with. But now, Gavin Reads It All, I'm being way easier on myself. We say that now. In a week's time, I'll be back to being a horrible, nasty, bossy bitch. Yay! We are live. We are live.
I was gonna make it a hot cocoa pun, but it wouldn't have worked.
Oh, speaking of cocoa, I have a mint hot chocolate right now.
Oh, that's perfect. Oh, and your Elsa mug. I have hot tea, but it's vanilla tea, and it's not in a festive mug yet because I'm in transition. So I've taken down all of my fall stuff, and I need to put up all my Christmas stuff this week. Have you started decorating for Christmas yet?
Oh, only little bits and bobs. I need to find where all of the Christmas stuff is. I don't know where I put them.
Director of the Cobbleton Players. Did I ever tell you all about that time I did the mousetrap? Yes!
And one of my favourites, Miss Bow.
Only because I own the sweet shop.
Miss Rosie and the twins.
They don't look like twins.
They're not identical.
Ah,
They're mine.
I met your mum. She died.
I think I might like Beano. The whole time I'm watching this, I'm I would date him.
I mean, to be fair, he's good with kids. He knows how to work a farm.
But he's funny. He's so
Mhm.
funny, and he's like trying to make everyone laugh the whole time. I don't know
Mhm.
why, but my mind just keeps going. Honestly, I would swipe right on Mr. Beano. I am
Mis-
Mr. Beano, yeah.
Mr. Beano can flick my Beano, if you know what I mean.
Shut up! No, you did not. You did not say that. Beano is daddy. I don't know what is the plot. Do you understand it? Because I don't.
No, not really. I can't. I'm not following it 100%. Okay. Mhm. Beth, don't worry. I did like this, but what? Okay, so I kind of understand more of the story now that I've read it. I wouldn't know how to describe it to you. Kind of like very early on and without any spoilers. Now I can make the connections between like the new neighbor and Ted and Lauren, his daughter, and Olivia, his like religious cat who also is a lesbian. I kind of can make the connections now. And yeah, Dee is Lulu's sister who got taken, and Ted was actually one of the main suspects, and that's why Dee has gone to this street to see exactly what happened to her sister. And obviously, like, she's like trying to investigate that. It definitely took some turns. Definitely took some turns. Did it take a single turn that I expected? Absolutely not. But I am still like maybe a little bit confused. I don't know if I fully wrap my head around it. I mean, I only just finished it like 20 minutes ago, so I think I still need time to process this. And it was a little bit hard to get into at first because I wasn't sure what I was reading. It's like, why am I getting a POV from a cat? And it just seemed ridiculous and bonkers, but it does make a lot more sense towards the end. Even though I'm still feeling a little bit senseless over it, I just don't know. I understand what happened and I understand how we got there, but I still, what? It's like, I know I liked it, but I don't know if I liked it enough to give it a rating. Do you know what I mean? This is going to be really hard to give ratings to. Characters, I'm going to give a 7. Very complex. I like them more than in A Dowry of Blood. A lot of layers, you know, a lot of layers. Not exactly what you would expect with the characters either. I'm gonna give Atmosphere a 6. I don't think it was as good as A Dowry of Blood in terms of atmosphere. I mean, pretty much because, yeah, this is first person. This is a lot of internal monologue. So really, like, painting a picture of, you know, the creepiness of it. It isn't really conveyed that well because it's told through dialogue. But still, there were moments that were a bit creepy, so I'll still give it that. Writing, I'm gonna give an 8. But the thing is, so I don't know if I truly loved the writing, no, I mean, no, I think I did. It wasn't in second person. And considering there were quite a few plot twists that came up and the development of the characters too, it does take a pretty skilled writer to pull that off. So Catriona will definitely pull that off. I'm being so vague, I'm so sorry. I can't go further into character motivations, where the plot goes to, or anything like that, because it's just one of those types of books. Plot though gets an 8. At least it had a plot, and it took me a little while to get there because, yeah, I was just confused at the start of this. I wasn't sure why things slotted the way that they did, but it does make more sense the further in you go. Intrigue an 8. As weird as some of it was, I did want to know if the lesbian cat was gonna get with the tabby cat outside, if she was gonna, you know, leave the house. She's an indoor cat, and even then, like, there's just more to that too. How do people talk about this book? Logic, 6.5. I can't tell if it doesn't make sense or if it does make sense. Does that make sense? And finally, I want to give enjoyment an 8 because I love books that give me this kind of reading experience where it plays with my mind a little bit and I'm not sure what's going on, so I really do have to pay more attention. And it did lead to a pretty good finale, in my opinion. So that gives The Last House on Needless Street a rating of 7.36, which puts Beth 18th on the leaderboard. I think maybe this is a book where I might need to read it a couple of times for me to truly appreciate what it did. I think if I moved past the confusion of, you know, I would probably say like the first quarter of this book, I might have enjoyed it more. I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy it as much as I did. It just, I don't know what to think. I don't know how to feel. But yeah, I was actually really scared that I would have to unsubscribe from another one of my friends. I didn't want to, But you know, some people just leave me no choice. Guys, remember, this is all a joke. I feel so bad. I was awake until about 5 o'clock in the morning last night. I was mainly thinking, I really want to change the library around. I want to put the desk in front of the window again, but like move things around a little bit to allow a bit more space that I didn't have the last time. The thing is, though, I'm not 100% sure how to, you know, spread this out because of the island situation and like the nostalgia nuke and the other like manga bit too. I just don't know how to sort that out, you know? And it's also now 8 p.m. Should I start moving stuff now? I really want to, actually. You know when you've got your heart set on something? Again, I don't know how I'd lay it out. Actually, no, I think I do now. I think the final jigsaw puzzle just slotted into place. I think I know how I'm going to do it. Yeah. Yeah, I think I do. Do I? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Oh, but the poor woman downstairs. You know, I have a downstairs neighbour and it is a bit late to be moving things around. But when my mind is focused on something, it has to happen. Otherwise, I'll not sleep again tonight. It probably doesn't look that amazing, but I did get a sticky toffee ice latte from Costa this morning, and I just put it in the fridge. So even though I really shouldn't be having this at this time of night, I really want to move my book room around. I really want to change it up a little bit. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to listen to the audiobook for Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk. It is on Libby, so yay, I can do that. Ash. He is so ignorant. Ash. Oh, you sneeze. Oh, my baby. Oh, did you say you sneeze? Oh.
Broadway's dark tonight. A little bit weaker than you used to be. Broadway's dark tonight. See the young man sitting in the old man's bar, waiting for his turn to die. The cowboy kills the rock star, and Friday night's gone too far. The dim light hides the years on all the faded girls. Forgotten but not gone. You drink it off your mind. You talk about the world like it's someplace that should be. You see you'd love to run home, but you know you ain't got one, 'cause you live in a world that's your best forgotten round here.
I love how the second story is called Guts, a story by Saint Gutfrey, and it starts with pretty much saying, a friend of mine, when he was 13 years old, he heard about pegging. This is when a guy gets banged up the butt with a dildo. So my friend, he buys milk and eggs and sugar and a carrot, all the ingredients for a carrot cake, and Vaseline. Like he's going home to stick a carrot cake up his butt. Codie, what are you making me read?
You choke down all your anger, forget your only son. You pray to statues when you're sober up for fun. Your anger don't impress me.
This story is just all about masturbation. Oh my god. Now I'm really not surprised Codie recommended this.
You see you love to run home, but you know you ain't got one, 'cause you live in a world that's your best forgotten.
Codie!
And nobody's gonna listen to the one small point. Another business around here. Broadway is dark tonight. A little bit weaker than you used to be. Broadway is dark tonight. See the young man sitting in the old man's bar, waiting for his turn to die.
Codie! There are people shoving metal rods up their piss slit of their penis. And now he's talking about pearl diving or something. Doing stuff underwater. Codie! I'm far too innocent for any of this. Oh. Where's my phone? Guys, he's used like the, the suction thing to like get off. And like his intestines have come out. Look, if I have to suffer, you do too. Okay, so I've moved the room around, but I cannot be asked to give you a tour right now. And there's still other little things I need to do. But I'm sweating. I'm tired. You'll have to wait until tomorrow, I'm afraid. Well, I've kind of finished and I quite like the way it looks. I mean, there are still little bits and bobs that I still need to do, but I like it. Yeah, I like it. It is the next day. I do have an update for Haunted. In fact, I'm nearly finished, so I might as well just finish it and then update you. But it's my mum's birthday today, so I'm just waiting for my brother to pick me up so that we can go for a birthday meal for her. But let's take a little gander at the new library layout. So you walk in, and the middle grade shelves are just constantly there. I moved this back to here, which was here, long time ago, with the nostalgia Nook stuff, the Goosebumps, the Fear Street, and then on the other side I do have, my Charmed, Sabrina, Vampire Diaries, Gossip Girl, and all of that. So that's kind of the same. I've put my One Piece thing there, but because I moved the manga, it means that I have like a little One Piece corner now, and I've made a big One Piece wall with the wanted posters that I bought in Japan 2 months ago, and I've been waiting for the right time to put them up, and they wouldn't fit anywhere until I moved the manga. This is where my desk used to be, and I've got all of my wanted posters up, and a couple of like tapestry things. I've got one there, one there, one there. Yep, all of the wanted posters. So I'm most likely to do some like filming here. So I think that could look like really nice. Then yeah, I've got like the sort of One Piece shelves there. And then I've got my manga along instead of, down here, which is what it was before. And it honestly felt really cramped. It felt really, really cramped because of that. Still have my classics over there. And I've got more of my manga on this side. Which means I do have my desk in front of the window again, which I do like. It means I can look out into the world when I am doing some work. And I've got my graphic novels here as well. But yeah, this is the room. It does feel a lot more spacious. I might get a rug to put here. And yeah, I just didn't like how cramped it was whenever you would walk in, because I would have this nostalgia Nook like right there, and then the manga, and then the other tower bit there as like the island in the middle. It just felt way too cramped. And then my desk here, I didn't really like it all that much. And I mean, that will be moving, but Ash and Toby love lying in it, so I don't know where to put it right now. But no, I hope you like it. It does feel a lot more spacious, a lot better than before, in my opinion. I'm glad that I could actually put those up after so long. I changed my library up so much every single year that the past 2 Januaries I've did a new bookshelf tour, and they've both been so drastically different from one another. And I'm going to have to do that again this January, I think. I may have to do an updated bookshelf tour and like library room tour. Actually, the one thing about it that I need to add is fairy lights, I think. I have fairy lights lighting up down here, and it looks like kind of dark on this side. There's like nothing to light it up, and then obviously the fairy lights in the middle grade section, but nothing here. It looks very dark when I'm sitting here just looking at it. I'm thinking, yeah, that's maybe a little bit too dark. So I think I'm gonna get some fairy lights to sort out this section of the library. So I'm back from my mum's dinner, except I didn't actually go to the dinner. I went up, saw my mum, and give her presents, all of that. But then I started to feel like really overwhelmed. there was more people there than I was expecting, and I couldn't quite handle it, so I ended up going home. It's fine when I can prepare for it, but because I didn't know there was going to be that many people there, I just instantly started to disassociate and just didn't want to be there. So fortunately my mum understood, as she always does, and we're going to do something together at some point. But yeah, now I'm having a coffee at this time. I'm also feeling so bad as well. Katie, if you're watching this, I will message you after this, by the way. But your letter and gift came, and I've just unsubscribed. I'm one of Katie's patrons, and, you know, it's just part of one of her tiers. And yeah, I have like a really nice, heartfelt, sweet, beautiful, amazing letter from Katie with this bunny thing. And I'm just like, ugh, I'm the worst friend. I'm so awful. Katie has no idea as well, by the way, about any of this. So that's just, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm just a bitch. Anyway, Tobu, just creeping on us. Toby, you know you're the creepiest little cat ever. Will you leave us alone? Thank you. So my China trip has just went live. 10 spots have been taken. There are 10 spots left. I'll put a link in the description box if you want to check it out. Japan was incredible, so I cannot wait. We're one for Egypt, which is next year. And now China in 2025. It's been confirmed. It's going ahead. Woohoo! So yeah, I'm going to put that in the description. So yeah, check it out if you want. I have finished Haunted and I am ready to wrap up this vlog. So how did the final book of this video do? Is Codie staying in my subscription feed? I mean, I did really like this one. I thought it was really weird and bizarre and so hard to follow. Essentially what it is there are 19 people who decide to go on a sort of writer's retreat, and they're trying to write some of the most like messed up stuff that they've ever written. So you have things like poems in here and short stories by people like Reverend Godless, Duke of Vandals, Lady Bag Lady. So I mean, this isn't an anthology. I thought this was going to be all short stories, an anthology thing, but there is like a running thread, a running narrative about the whole like writer's retreat thing, and the fact that these are all fictional characters writing these stories. It's always like really hard to wrap my head around, because some of these stories are so messed up. It's so weird, like not scary. I'm going to say here and now, I didn't find this scary. I found it more gross than scary. There was a lot of vulgar things in this. And, you know, as I was listening to the audiobook while I was changing my library around last night, and I continued this morning, I kept finding my flabbers being gasted by the disgusting stuff that was going on. There is a running theme of descending into madness, violence, humans being scumbags, sex, praying for the downfall of others, fame. This man who wrote this was deprived. I just know it. So how am I going to rate this book? So I think I'm going to give characters a 7. Atmosphere, I'm going to give a 9. Writing, I'm going to give a 9. Plot, I'm going to give a 9. Intrigue, I'm going to give a 9. Logic, an 8. These are just like pretty much short stories that these fictional characters are coming up with, and poems and things. So there isn't really anything that's not logical in it. And enjoyment, I'm going to give a 9. Because I think I enjoyed it just as much as I did Black Iris. So that gives it an 8.57, which puts it just above Black Iris on the leaderboard. Codie's book corner comes in at number 8. And these are the 4 books that I read in this video. Start with Black Iris by Elliot Wake for Ellias. Went on to A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson for Katie Colson. Then I went to The Last House on Needle Street by Catriona Ward for Beth Bartholomew. And finally, I finished Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk for Codie's book corner. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave this video a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you read any of these books. Do you agree with my ratings for these books? Tell me everything. I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons and my One Piece channel members for supporting my channel. If you'd like to join my Patreon or my One Piece channel membership, then all the links are down in the description box. But yeah, I hope I will see you in the next video. Bye!